So it's been a minute since I've done a live, and practice makes perfect, as they say. I want to share my screen. Let's see how that goes. Okay. Here we go. How is everybody? How is YouTube? How is the world? How are we doing? And I don't want to get myself copyright today because I'm actually trying to build my sub count. I am like, I don't know, 100 away from 1K, and that's sort of exciting. Hi, Chris. I am just getting on here to catch up with everybody. It's been a minute since I've gone live, and I haven't really been going into anybody else's lives. I've really just been finding myself sucked into everything going on. You know, the world is crazy. Isn't things just absolutely insane these days? I've been working on a couple new pieces of art. Very, this is like a negative I'm working on, just the negative. But what's going on where you are, Chris? How's the weather today? I'm actually getting ready to go work. I'm supposed to go down to the city in a couple of weeks, so I need to start saving up. But I keep finding myself stuck inside because of the rain. Oh shoot, give me 1 second. I've been thinking about, it's going to be really cold pretty soon, and we're all going to be stuck inside, right? We're going to be stuck inside. Oh, that's right. Okay. So I told you I have relative. I was born in Buffalo. I was born at OLV Hospital in Buffalo, New York. When I was little, I used to tell everybody that it smelled like Cheerios in Buffalo. I didn't realize that it was from the steel mill that I lived right next door to. But I loved that smell. There was just something about the smell of Buffalo that really took me home. My grandparents had a box seats for the Bills for years. I don't know if they do that anymore. They've gotten, pretty old. So I just think they're just doing what elderly people do. But Buffalo, yeah, you got the cold. That's one thing I didn't like about Buffalo, New York, is the cold. Anyway, I woke up this morning with the word sleuth on my mind. I don't even know why. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. So, my 52-year-old mind figured time to learn something new. So I looked up the word sleuth and I found out, wow, I am a internet sleuth. And what internet sleuth is basically is an investigator. A sleuth. I'm an amateur sleuth. I do a lot of investigating, but I don't share a lot of what I am investigating with anybody but my notebook. When I was a kid, I was, mostly focused on art. Honestly, I thought I was just going to get married and be a wife and have kids because that is the environment that I was raised in, a very old-fashioned environment. What the boys did was way more important than what I was doing because I was just going to meet some men and get married. In fact, that's what I was told. But, people raised in the 40s and the 50s, their values were a lot different than they were when I raised my kids. Um, it's crazy. Anyway, so I sort of am trying to, figure out what the heck am I going to do with this live? What am I going to do with this live? I've tried to hook up with other people and do something with them. Um, and that that doesn't really work out, especially when you're in different parts of the world. And it's really fun and cool to go on other people's lives and hang out and get to know people. But a lot of the times, you're with them and you're discussing whatever topic it is that's on their mind, and you're just input. um I know I used to say in the beginning of my live days, when I first started going live, I used to say when I was young, I really wanted to, be on the news. I wanted to be a newscaster. I wanted to be a journalist. I really, really dug the idea of being an investigative journalist. And so, anyway, I didn't really think that was a real career, though. And today, it's really not. I mean, it is. It is. It's actually quite a serious job. But getting paid to be a sleuth is another thing. But I've been looking at old research, and I know that a lot of people are talking about how it seems as though yesterday, I think it was, the Wayback Machine was down. No, actually, what I'm doing right now is I'm just doodling, basically. But the reason why I'm talking about this sleuthing business is because when I woke up this morning, that's what I had on my mind. Find out what a sleuth is, and basically, I woke up with this idea in my mind that I kept saying, "You're a sleuth. You need to find out what that is." Um, and anyway, the Wayback Machine was down. People were reporting it. I saw a couple of different people doing little segments about it being down, and I guess apparently the Wayback Machine found out that people were alarmed that it was down, and they said that it was they weren't erasing it, nobody was messing with it, and it was just down for maintenance, and not to worry that it would be back up. I'll be honest with you, I do not trust the internet anymore. I think it's a terrible source for getting accurate information on what's going on in the world. I think it is being used heavily as a tool for misinformation. And, one person's truth is not another person's truth. And we're just living in such a crazy, as backwards paradigm. Um, and so, anyway, a lot of us, anybody over 40 who has, used the internet, I know you've got to see that even the fonts are different. Um, if you go, investigate, my favorite person to investigate, Ms. Hillary Clinton. Everything is completely pro Hillary. Okay. You look up these people all running, for positions right now for the upcoming election, and you can tell, the ones that the industry wants you to vote for. There's nothing. It's like they went in and they just swept all the negativity out. Um, and then you have a lot of them, said included, the getting on TV and debunking stuff, from the past, stuff that a lot of people don't really even know about, because I'd have to say, I think that the internet in the past 5 years has, just it has it's changed. It's really changed. Um, I don't know if any of you guys ever used Google in the early years. There used to be an app through Google called Google Plus, and on Google Plus, that's like where I built like a huge community of people. And we were web sleuths. We were gathering information and sharing details about what's going on. Like I had a couple friends in the UK, or not friends, but, internet buddies. And, we all just trolled the news and, investigators on the internet that we all watched, and we all would come back and share a lot of our information. That's when I found out about the scariest movie ever, KJ Osborne. I don't know if you guys ever watch KJ Osborne, but I highly recommend his work. He is a awesome content creator. um and anyway, I met him. There was Nicholson, what is it? Nicholson 68. Incredible work. Um, Actually, we said that those groups before Michael Jackson even was exited. Um, anyway, we were doing all the same thing. We were, having these cool um gatherings, group sessions, and that is when all of the stuff on the island business was really starting to get heavy. The island was being exposed. The list had been released because Epstein had been charged, and he was doing time. I think he got like something like 14 months house arrest, and he had to do some like time served or whatever. And I know at that point everybody was saying that, he had a really unconventional setup going on there, because a lot of people knew him, and so he had a lot of money, and money is power. So anyway, it was getting too heavy apparently for the people down at Google, and this was after YouTube was sold over to the organization. That's what I call it, the organization. There's lots of different tentacles, but they all come together. But they were not happy that we were sharing so much information. That's when Rabbi Finkelstein was getting on there and talking about the old Mickey D's, and talking about just conspiracy kind of stuff. That's where the information about what? Give me 1 second. That's where the information about conspiracy theory, the the term being used. That's where we learned that it was actually part of a program, operation. Life itself is just one great big experiment. I mean, this one's experimenting that one, and that one's experimenting on this one, and we're all just experimenting. We don't know what any of this is about. We're all just drawing our own conclusions. I'm not, anyway, I really was very upset when Google took Google Plus away. At that point, I had a huge following, and we were really getting down to business. We really keeping up on the truth and what's going on in the world. I mean, it's really cool when you can touch base with somebody on the other side of the country to find out, hey, what's going on in your area, and just keep in touch, and being a United States. We weren't worried about pigment. What's your pigment? What is your pigment? What's my pigment? We weren't worried about that stuff. What we were worried about is what the world was going to be like for, at the time, I guess at that point, my youngest kid was she was 7. She was 7 years old, because I remember her wanting to borrow my laptop all the time. She was 7 years old. Um, and I thought to myself, Google must be getting rid of Google Plus because we're sharing too much information. Information sharing is very dangerous for the organization, the establishment, the cabal. Everybody's got a different name for it. And they call it a conspiracy. The rest of us watch it happen right in front of our faces. And it's just, it's absolutely out of control. And I knew when they were starting to get rid of MySpace, it was in the air. It was in the air. The truth was in the air. Um, MySpace was awesome. Who had a MySpace? It was so cool because it was teaching us all how to build websites. We were literally learning web building, and oh boy, they couldn't have that. They could not have that. And when Julian dropped the WikiLeaks, I watched. We still had access to the World Wide Web here in the United States. I believe that we are all being diverted to just one or two, maybe, one big server. We are not on the internet. We are not accessing the World Wide Web. We are accessing the propaganda information that the establishment wants us to see. The internet is not what it was even 5 months ago. It's being fleeced of everything, everything. And I know a lot of you that are internet sleuths and do the same thing as me. You're researching. There's a fly in here. You're researching all the time on the internet, looking for the latest breaking scary thing happening in the world, or uh, you know who knows, some people are not, they're looking for positive things. um, there are a lot of positive things happening in the world, outside of all of the misery that so many people are facing, and the economy being fleeced all over the world. Australia, some of the biggest some of the biggest victims of this mess that we're dealing with, this human experiment they got going on us. I feel you, Australia. I do. I've been watching what's going on with you guys, and they roll it out on Australia, and we all sit around and watch it on TV. And what they were doing during that lockdown was disgusting. Canada, what Justin Trudeau was doing. Um, these people, and the thing that blows my mind is a lot of them are actually younger than me. And I'm watching them tell us all that they know better than us. And they really don't. You know what they know better than us? Most of them, they know how to double speak. They go to college. They go to colleges that teach them how to speak in circles and riddles and say absolutely nothing, but it tugs on you, your feelings, your emotions, and they're really learning psychology and how to get into innocent, uh, easily influenced minds. And it's scary because it is not good people who they don't have humanity in mind. They do not have humanity in mind. And they are the families that have utilized the judicial system to cut corners and take advantage of people, and use people as a means to make money. I was listening to a young man yesterday, and I'm really starting to enjoy the millennials who are not afraid to dig deep on the internet, and they're really producing a lot of great stuff, and they're bringing it so fast that it's almost impossible for the establishment to stay on top of these guys, these kids, a lot of them, because they're moving fast. They're moving faster than they can censor. And I'm thinking, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that AI is actually not working the way that they had hoped. Everything they do, it they give me one second, guys. It's a catastrophe for them, like everything they're trying to do to us, it works against them. And that's a beautiful thing to see. They sabotage themselves. Hillary Clinton getting out here now screaming about how the pizza stuff wasn't real, and how we shouldn't be paying attention to any of that. It's not important. It's a bunch of trolly, disgusting, vile people making up lies. Listen, Julian Assange is alive, thank goodness, and he is free finally. He is no longer being held hostage by our portion of the government that was hijacked. And, I'm not going to hold back as far as saying what I saw happen over the last 10 years. And I mean, I know that there was a shift. There used to be a balance, a balance of good and evil. And, my dad, who was a very headstrong, man, high integrity, he told me, when I was a kid, that without the imbalance of the negative politics and politicians, you won't be able to see the good. So that's why there is that balance. And the Statue of Liberty is wearing the blinder, because it is supposed to be the same across the board. Everyone is supposed to get fair and equal treatment, especially when it comes to crime and breaking the law, and especially when it comes to humanity on a whole. Anyway, what I've been seeing a lot of over the past month, is these kids building these channels where they are talking about, the craziest thing they saw on TikTok. And it seems like, there's a competition or a race to see who can get, the most interesting, mind bending stuff. But there's also a lot of people that are, digging into what's going on in the country. The fact that we are facing an election coming up. And I know that I have voiced my views on our election system in the past, and it's just, I do believe that you should go and, cast your vote. I personally believe that it's been rigged for a really, really long time. But what it does when you go and cast your vote is it does show that you participated in the unity of our unified republic, and you are participating in the electoral process that happens in our country, that gives every single person, American citizen, the right to decide who we want to be advocating for us. Because really, what has happened is these advocators have turned these leaders, people who are supposed to be representing us, somewhere down the line, they got this notion in their minds that they're not representing us or advocating for us, as speaking for us as a group, because a group needs one person to speak for them. They actually have become our authority, and they believe they are the power over us, and only because they've been able to fleece the country. We know, I mean, I don't know the exact number. Some people say it's 13 families. Some people say it boils down to three families, like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Gettys, all of that. Some people say it's a network. And, I mean, there's a lot of different things being said out there, but I don't really care so much because I know that part of this isn't real. We don't live forever. These people think that they want to stay here forever because they've been lapping in the luxury for so long and, just taking advantage of the system. And they figured out how to take advantage of all of us and run people off of their land and steal it for pennies on the dollar and set up boundaries on Earth, telling one group of humans, telling another group of humans, you're not allowed to go here. This is secret federal land, which I don't comply with that garbage. I don't. Yeah, all of that stuff. The electoral college votes that really matter, I agree. And the popular vote doesn't matter. But if it worked like it was supposed to, those electoral votes would be uh, based on the group. It would be based on what their particular districts that they handle. They would take all of those and they would say, all right, well, my group wants this person, and that's how the electoral college is supposed to work. It's not supposed to work where we all just go like zombies and vote, and then the 30 of them all decide, not based on anything but who what lobbyist has paid the most out to them, or however that works. I mean, I know that there's this shift where there is uh, there is an attempt right now happening for the globalists to assume authority over all of our countries. I mean, they've got different plans for each little one. And, I know that the shift that's happened in the United States, where of the, um, all of the wealth the wealth has been stolen from historical families who have owned things for generations. People being kicked off their land because they didn't pay the taxes or whatever it is. I'm sorry, I'm doing two things at once, three things. Yep, we have a lot of work to do. One floor. I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually I'm trying to work out a way to make enough money to move my mom from Michigan to New York. Um, we we never had the opportunity to live together because of the government and the fact that my mother was very young, and she didn't always make the best choices, but she was young. And my family fought for me. I know I've told my story on the internet before, but my family was, they weren't poor. It's just, it seems like everybody that is my mom, my grandmother, my dad, they're like all the black sheeps, like how black sheeps meet other black sheeps of the family. I don't know that happens, but I mean, I we have a town. My great grandmother, Gorham, Maine. That's named after my family. I mean, the Russells ran the whole county. They were the superior court judges and the chief of polices, and there was a lot of wealth in my mom's family, but just somehow down the road, because my grandmother made bad decision, she wasn't entitled to anything, and one person in the family got everything, and then they gave it to their kids. And my mom and her sister end up with nothing. And I mean, the old world and the new world, it clashed. So anyway, I'm trying to move my mom to New York, so I've just got a lot of things going on. And I really would love to build a YouTube community where we're all sleuthing together. Where a group of us, where we come together, and we talk about what we found today, or who we watched today on the internet, and what key points were important to us. And like, I find myself watching Riz or Candace Owens lately, or I mean, there's lots of them, lots of channels that I find myself watching. But most of the time I'm fasting, I'm playback speeding like 2.5%. I'm watching them really fast. I'm taking the information I want, I'm moving on. Because that's the way my mind works. um I know a lot of you guys, your minds work that way too, because that's by design. Anyway, um I want, there are a lot of people that I talk to on the internet that, do lives that, really, I got to blow my nose. I'll be right back. Um, there's a lot of people that do lives that, they're, getting together, and, they're just talking about stuff and doing stuff. And I want to build a community on my channel, and I want to talk about the stuff that we were talking about prior to Google getting rid of Google Plus. And where we're endorsing important content, and touching base on, like, you're upstate, I'm a few hours away from you, and then we've got comedy flu down further. And there's just, we're positioned all over the place. And it would just be cool, because it's going to be cold soon, to come together at, I was actually thinking at 11 o'clock at night on Sundays. That way we've been through the whole week, and we're coming together at 11 o'clock on Sunday night Eastern Standard Time to gather our information and talk about what's on our minds. And I actually have been tinkering with my own little podcast. And Chris, you probably watched it. A couple people watched it. I made it private because it is private. And I mean, it's not really saying a lot of nice stuff. I'm sorry. Chris, the craziest thing is it has been 5 years, almost 5 years, that I have not had a professional job. I have put my resume on every site on the internet. And I'm just so old fashioned. I don't know how to find a job. And it's just, I am stressed out, and I know I'm watching it on TikTok. There are so many people uploading and talking about how stressed out they are economically. Everybody in the United States that is, on my level, where we are the middle class. A lot of us are struggling, and it's just, Anyway, I didn't mean to take off on you, Chris, like that. And like I said in my description, I was just coming on just to touch base. I really wanted to talk about Julian Assange. A lot of people are not talking about Julian Assange. And if it wasn't for Julian, we would be in a very different place right now. And I fear that place would not have been good. And we all know that if you are keen enough to listen to what you're being told, but then step back and look into it and find out what it might carry a little bit of fact, and what might be a load of garbage. It's really important to go to more than one source, and unfortunately these days, and it's crazy, but the fact checker on here is saying that that which I don't, it's just like I said, we're being diverted through one server. And I really hope that AI and let's say the migrants, all the migrants that have come into the United States, and I know they're horrible, awful criminals who were all just pouring out of the Venezuelan prisons, and duh and fear and scary and be scared and be afraid. I hope all of the Haitian people, which I have a very good friend who, well, we were good friends. We haven't been in touch in a while. We worked together for years. But the stuff that's being said, the majority of it is just, it's just fear mongering. I really hope that the people that are coming into the United States from Haiti, I really hope you guys know that a part of the reason why your country is in the shape that it's in, it's been fleeced. They were mining the resources out for 10 years. Um, that wasn't the United States, the American citizens. What it was is actually a pretty small faction of people who figured out how to bend the laws to set up this, unknowing to the majority, this new two-tier legal system. We watched it. James Comey got right on TV. We watched the investigation into Lisa Page and Peter Strzok and all of that stuff, and we know those people were not operating at the highest level of moral integrity. They were not. Okay. Now, it happened. So, I mean, clearly we can't change those things. But my point is American citizens, when push comes to shove, we just watched it happen in North Carolina. Um, um, we watched it. We're watching it. American citizens usually have to come together. We cannot rely on the organizations that were set up to come into play when we need them, because all of those organizations have, this small faction of people that I'm talking about, they have found a way to, slowly milk all that stuff into their pockets. Look, when a president leaves the position of the presidency, $65,000 in debt. And then there are all these investigations going. And then all of a sudden, it just, you put a person in this position, a person in that position. When you are the Secretary of State, you got a lot of you got a lot of power. And so I don't know Hillary Clinton's situation. I don't know any of that stuff. My rant is basically about humanity and humans. Humans coming together. If you guys that have come into the country, if you're intending on voting, if you're registered to vote and you've come into the country specifically to to shift the balance, remember the past when you're making your decisions and really look into who is operating who. Okay. That's where I brought Candace Owens up a little bit ago. She is really doing the deep dive investigating into what is going on with the Democratic runner-up, the installed runner-up. And I am old enough to know how that operation works, and that's not how it works. They just went ahead and did it. But over the years, I've watched them do it. I have notebooks full of all of this like rhetoric that they have been pouring out to us for the last, I'd say, about the last 16 years. I think, in my own personal opinion, and this is my disclaimer, I am only voicing my opinion. My opinion is usually based on years of observation, just watching what is going on around me, reading, listening to people, paying close attention. Now, when they did that investigation into Benghazi and Hillary was questioned by Congress for that, I don't know, 14 hours or whatever the case might be. That stuff, I paid attention, okay? I read the emails. I read the WikiLeaks for weeks. I read them. So these people can't come out on social media and turn around and say all that stuff wasn't true. It's already been proven true. So you can't backtrack and debunk something that your debunked was already debunked. Now, I'm not claiming that a lot of the things that were being said through, the Anon and the that letter community. And I mean, I don't even want to say it just because I don't want to set off an algorithm because I said it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But one thing I want to say is, if you were paying attention this whole time, it is like we're watching a movie just play right out. Sean Combs is just a mechanism and a much deeper rooted illness happening in our society that is affecting everybody. It's affecting our economy. It is affecting our social justice. It is affecting our the way that our children's, it's beyond that though. It is really beyond 1984. It is beyond that because, like I said, it is people who are younger than most of us getting up here and saying, I rule you and you're going to do things this way, or I'm going to empty out all of your life savings, all your family's life savings, and you're not going to do anything about it because I have all of this weaponry against you. It's not real though. That's the cool thing. Like, I don't know when in life I came to this like conclusion that things are not real. It's not real. We are all just going through an experience together. And it's crazy because this experience is on like light speed, like light speed fast forward by the like 100th degree. we have all of this nonsense being poured on us all day. I'm, like, uh, Gypsy Road Blanchard. I don't know, if it's my algorithm, but I mean, this girl is just everywhere on the internet. Okay, I mean, I have never listened to a more narcissistic human being in my life. And she's talking about prison reform. Now, listen, again, this, my disclaimer, based on my own observations of what's going on in the world right now, but this girl is being shoved down our throats as some kind of hero, like the newest Kim Kardashian, which, by the way, all of those celebrities are, crickets. We aren't seeing them. We're not being bombarded with Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian and all, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett and Beyonce and Jay-Z. We know the collective, the majority of us know they have all been playing in extremely dark, distorted, overstimulated circumstances, because it's about just they got out of control. They got out of control, and a lot of people have been hurt in that situation. But all of that stuff was allowed to happen. It all is being allowed to happen, and it's being pushed on us so heavily. So we aren't watching what's going on in this other hand. They got us over here looking at this one, and what they're really doing is over here. And the reason why is because there are people who aren't dumb as rocks, and everybody isn't jumping in line to buy $200-300 concert tickets to go see Taylor Swift, who is pandering to 13-year-olds still. We're not seeing all this stuff. It isn't being, we're not being bombarded by all of them. So they've replaced them with all of this different stuff. Now, listen, the stuff happening with Sean Combs, that stuff started a long time ago. Go back and listen to Professor Griff. Listen to Eazy-E before he died. We're talking, you guys, this stuff has been, bubbling up since the 80s. It has been happening. It has been growing like a festering mold since the 80s. My very first chat room on AOL. People have been talking about this stuff forever, but most people are too innocent in their way of thinking that there's no way we could really be living out 1984. Well, part of the reason why we're living out 1984 is because we watched that stupid movie. What's the other one? Metropolis. You watch that movie? Another one, you've got the stingy old aristocrats, the stuffy old aristocrats who do their weird, keeping it within a small group of families, like you can only marry from this family or this family. And so, that's starting to create the mental illness of their superiority complex, but nevertheless, Julian Assange is free. We are about what, 4 or 5 weeks away from this election. We know that they are actors, they are characters, they are groomed and built for what a darker, bigger thing, like the president of the United States is just a figurehead. It is just a figurehead. It is the top of the pyramid as far as public relations is concerned. Everything else, the true mechanisms behind our politics, for on a personal level, for each of us, it really it starts in our own communities. How are your communities, you guys? What's going on in your city, in your town? Look, you know, have they used old roofing material to fill all your potholes? And are they ignoring the things in your communities that really need attention? Are you Do you have blocks and blocks of houses that are just derelict and just sitting there, and they used to be nice, and people were taking care of the yards, and caring about the properties, and now the properties are boarded over because some meth addicts lived there for a spell, and they cause some kind of like toxic chemicals in the air, and so now nobody can live there. And you look back and you remember the old woman who used to be out there prepping her flowers for spring and setting up the house for trick or treat on Halloween, which, by the way, I won't, and I don't really agree with participating in. It's blindly participating in you know black magic. It is. All Hallows Eve. It is. We've been participating in black magic for a long time. Some of us knowing, and some of us want to, and I mean, to each his own. I believe, the stuff that I was taught since I was a little girl about Jesus and about the true God doesn't practice in blood rituals. Yeah, it does. It starts local. Locally, right now, we've got Mark Molinaro, and I think that's Mark or something like that, an Italian name. I can just go outside of my front porch. I've been bombarded, absolutely bombarded. Never before have I seen so much waste for campaigning. Like, my mailbox is just stuffed full of garbage. The money could have been used for something so much, just, God, stop it. Okay. And now we're being targeted by somebody who is saying that he grew up here, and he understands the little guy. And listen, I told you guys, I live in the Twilight Zone. Okay, this is where Rod Serling was born. I live in the Twilight Zone. He literally went to high school here. He grew up here. He got a lot of his inspiration from where I live. Well, where I live, there were a lot of things born here. A lot of our communities have, big names in them. Um, but, anyway, my point is, where I live, we have politicians who don't even live in the area making decisions for us. So, the money's not going where it should. It should be going back into the community. We need, if they want us to be living this like socialized society, then we need to move back to the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, where the federal government was producing our own food. There used to be federally made food in the United States. Like, there were food stamp programs and food bank programs where we were manufacturing everything right here. Okay, we were making the food, we were cooking it, we were canning it, processing it, shipping it out to the food banks. I don't know if any of you have ever seen government cheese. Oh my God, I used to get this great big thick stick of government cheese. That cheese was damn good. I'm sorry, it tasted good. And they used to also give you government cans of meat. Like a government can of chicken, and it was these like large 15, 16 ounce cans of tomatoes. Well, it would have the outline of a cow on it. And it would be a white label with a cow on it. And on the back, it would say manufactured in the United States, by the United States federal government food program. We did things in our own country for each other. We weren't getting everything shipped in and out of the country in order to sustain ourselves. So that's really where we need change. We need to reel it back in. We need to start doing our own farming locally. We need to start making our own clothes and things, all of the resources. Landers, shampoo, just household products. We used to make all of those household products. Landers used to be right here in town. We used to make our own milk right here in town. We had our own what do you dairy company. We had our own dairy processing company here. I mean, we did all our own stuff. We kept it local so that everybody had jobs. We had opportunities because we were taking care of each other. We were taking care of our towns. We were taking care of ourselves. We weren't shipping it in from third world countries where Nike is charging $2, $3, $4, $5, $1,000 for a pair of freaking sneakers that's made in some sweatshop where the people are locked down in the warehouse for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're allowed to go to the bathroom once every 12 hours. And I'm not exaggerating. Okay. All you got to do. Well, the craziest thing is the whole reason for this was to tell you guys, you can research this stuff. It's extremely difficult to get to the bottom of the truth right now because the majority of the stuff that I am finding web sleuthing on Google is bias, propaganda style information, because when it's only this person is so wonderful and great and perfect, and this person is doing this and this, and they're doing this and this and this and that for you, then it's all about you, and your town. We're middle class. We identify with you. They don't identify with us. You know what they want? They want your pocket. They want your purse. They want you crawling to them, begging them for, a little handout. Can you believe this is $750 to the people in oh my God, in the storm? Incredible. Shame on you. Shame on you. That alone should lose every single one of you who is in office right now. You should be gone. Some of you should be in jail and prison. Some of you should. Some of you have blood on your hands. And us Gen Xers, we know. We're not dumb. We know. We know what you guys are up to. We've watched it. We're not blind. Okay? You don't ever hear about Gen X. They don't talk about Gen X. The media doesn't say Gen X, Generation X. Generation X is a thorn in their side because we are better than the Wayback Machine because we all have it stored. We all have it stored in our hard drives. And, you can't Arkanside the entire generation, although you've put a very good dent in it with the chemical warfare against it. Overworking people, putting people, in the position to be dependent on chemicals that you all knew. You knew the damage it was going to cause. You turned so many people into chemically castrated slaves. I watched it. And I'm not exaggerating. I watched it. I watched it kill my husband. I just watched it. I watched it happen. I watched the way that the system loves to, narcissists get in the position of authority over people, and they have these, oh my goodness, I've watched these programs where people have to go get their medication every day, These programs are designed to make a couple of people fat and wealthy. Fat and wealthy. As long as you're hooked on their drugs and you need to go for that medication, they got their arms around you. They got their arms around your neck. What do they say? They got their boot on your neck. It's all intentional. All of it. Every bit of it intentional. Nobody ever voted the Gates Foundation to be making medical decisions for our entire society. He doesn't have any medical background. Okay, he has no business to be assuming what we need. I was listening to him the other day. I don't know how everybody has agreed to be these people's friggin' experiment. I don't know. I don't. I know that a lot of it has to do with MK Ultra on a mass scale. My opinion, again, my opinion. But the stuff happening with Jaguar Wright and Sean Combs, all of this stuff happening with Taylor Swift in the UK right now. The stuff with Stephanie Germanotti and the Joker movie, all that stuff, it's there so that people are they're just overwhelmed with information they don't need. And as these other people continue to fleece the country, steal your generational wealth, my generational wealth. But you know what? That's just for here. Some of them are so crazy that they are, they keeping themselves frozen until they could come back to life, so they can come back and enjoy their money. It's crazy. There are people sleeping under the bridge right now. It's cold out. There are people out here sleeping under the bridge, and you have the audacity to cryogenically be freezing yourself so that you could come back. Fucking A. Excuse my language. Absolutely infuriating. I'm sorry. It is, though, isn't it? It's infuriating. I have a friend who lives down in the city, and he was saying that somebody let all of these parrots loose. So they're like parrots, wild parrots, which I didn't know existed. Wild parrots living in the trees in New York City. Somebody got him as a pet. I don't know. And then they couldn't keep him. Probably got evicted because it's so freaking expensive to live in New York City. That's something else I wanted to talk about real quick. Just to keep note on this live that, listen, you guys, they really are working it behind our backs. Okay. The UN, we got a prince over here, a British royal prince over in the United States, spewing all this rhetoric about our rights to our rights to free speech, and how he thinks that is just absurd. Okay. Harold, or whatever his name is, what do they call him? Henry from this dweeb from which I know that the monarchy, when the queen died, the monarchy was handed over. If you look at Prince Charles's chest, on his lapel, he wears the rainbow, the loyalty pin they all have. And that loyalty isn't with the British people. It's just not. I'm sorry, but it's time to do away with all of this fantasy stuff. We are in a new world, and this new world is it doesn't belong to a certain sect of people while the rest of us just sit around and suffer. The earth is so beautiful. It's so big. There's so much love to share. So many just people being neglected, animals. Uh, we are still keeping lobsters in cages at Red Lobster and gawking at them to pick which one we want to eat. Shameful garbage. That is shameful. That is absolutely disgusting. I went in there. I won't go there anymore. I won't go there. I won't go there. Not until they get rid of it. Okay. Don't do that. That's disgusting. Maybe it was cool back in the 70s, but now it's just barbaric. Flava Flav, if you really did buy out that corporation, can you please get rid of those lobsters? Stop doing that. It's. I have watched. If you go on the internet, you can find somebody who has a relationship with a crab, a relationship with a lobster. I mean, we build relationship. If you can build a relationship with it, we shouldn't be keeping it in a cage to gawk at, to eat later, maybe never eat. Some of those lobsters that I look at in those cages, oh my God, they're older than all of us. And we're treating them that way. Just totally shameful. Absolutely disgusting. I don't know. I'm sure that Pete has said something about it once or twice, but it's absolutely insane to me. I am ranting about the lobsters and crabs. Um, so what I was saying though about all of the rumors and stuff going on about the rap community and Sean Combs and all of them were up to no good, treating people subservient to them as if because they have all of that money, the rest of us are just sheep for the pickings. um that kind of stuff, it's just I don't get it. I don't understand how humans can be so subservient, how people are worshiping celebrities as if they are Jesus. those I'm sorry, they are figments of your imagination. They are creations. Anyone with enough money and the right sound system can be the most incredible musician you have ever seen in your life. Anyone. You want to be a famous musician? You can be. It is really that simple. They create it. They create it. They create it. They create it to distract you from your like I said, basically they're doing it to steal your heredity, your wealth, your generational wealth. No American citizen should be sleeping on the curb. It's a disgusting thing. Uh, no, nobody should be installed into a position of power like Kathy Hochul was as our governor in New York State. I don't like that lady. Yeah, Kathy Hochul, I don't like you one bit. I don't like you one bit because I watched and I know that you were sitting up there right next to Cuomo, okay? And Cuomo, what he did to us during that pandemic was disgusting, okay? I lost my father-in-law and my grandfather-in-law. Well, and I also blame my husband on you guys too, because the way that you have stuff set up to just take all that money from people's health care, you got these programs. It's all just one great big money grab. Everything in this country is a goddamn money grab. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. I don't know where you guys are. Of course, I know where you are. But I don't know where a lot of you guys are. But if you're in a different country, are you feeling it? Are you feeling a money grab? I don't see people in the UK all being evicted from their homes like we are here. They have social programs that take care of the special needs people, the autistic, the people with cerebral palsy and things like that. The UK, as as old fashioned and fairy tale as it is with its monarch, the social programs are still there. They haven't pillaged those from you guys yet. They haven't pillaged those from you guys yet. They have here. They have here. You here. If you don't have a job, you cannot have a place to live. If you don't have a job, you can't have a place to live. I mean, it's just that basic. I get on here, I watch these other people. How do you people have time to be, doing the things, the awful, horrible things some people do to their kids? Where do you even find the time? Absolutely disgusting. We're living in a upside down world right now. And I actually just got on here to rant and rave and to see some of you guys touch base. I was hoping We Free came on because I haven't seen We Free in a while, and I hope that We Free, you're doing all right out there. Penny, a bunch of you guys, some of you guys have left me messages, and I appreciate all of the new subs. I got like 20 new subs over the last week. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Michelle Marie Delaney. Michelle helped me do that. And I really appreciate that. Comedy Flu also has been really, a really supportive person to my channel. I never saw my social media as a way to make money. It wasn't really what I wanted out of social media. I saw it as a form of communication, a place to build a community. But then I realized I can sell my art here. And like I said, right now I'm just doodling, but I've been on for an hour and 10, 15 minutes. So I'm going to get going. I don't know how to set it up. Like, I'm going to be experimenting over the next few weeks, putting up a couple things, making a couple things. I really want everybody to go check out Professor Griff, if you would. He's got a lot of really important information. He's been bringing it since long before Julian Assange, and it's just out of everybody who, is up on what's happening, who's been inside, who knows the truth. He's a lot like Dick Gregory. He's got a lot of really important, useful information. And I mean, if you listen to him, it could save your life. I mean, it really could save our lives to listen to him. He's got a lot of useful information that if you're on the fence about what you think about some of our politicians or, the future of our country, any of that stuff, if you're on the fence, if you're on the fence about any of it, I really just highly advise, you go listen to Griff, go back, listen to his stuff from years back. He was giving this interview inside of a bookstore. Best thing I ever saw. I remember I saw that back on Google Plus. It's for the first time I saw Griff, Professor Griff. It was on YouTube Plus, and he was exposing Nicki Minaj. Because these people are all just creations. They're not really, they're not who they are on everything. They're just characters created to distract you. And I'll be perfectly straight with you guys. I don't know if they are, if it is. I hear these crazy conspiracies about how some people are infected and they're not, who they were when they started. And maybe, I've even heard as far as, to be some of them celebrities that we have out here influencing us. I've heard, more religious people talking about how, some of them may be demon influence. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of it seems like Hollywood, though, like our politics are Hollywood, our music industry is Hollywood, our entertainment is Hollywood. I'm sick of Hollywood. After what you guys did to Isaac Cappy, what Macaulay Culkin, Pizza Underground, all that stuff. Once that stuff happened, there was no going back. It didn't matter what they did, what they sold. I was never big on these celebrities much. I mean, there's like a song that I like, New York. I like that song. But then you listen to the words to all this stuff, and it's all just rituals on us, you guys. They're just spells. They're setting spells on us. Anyway, I should get going. I need to go work. I've talked your ear off long enough. I do want to do more, get a little bit more professional. I am an amateur YouTuber, and I am going to keep it amateur because that's who I am. I don't know how to paint. I just do what comes out of me at the time, and let the rest just do itself. And I don't know. Now I'm just babbling. I am just babbling. I want to do a shout out to Candace Owens. Thank you so much for all your hard work. I got you right there, Chris. I actually have to go do that stupid DoorDash. When I'm DoorDashing. I want to start a group. Like I said in my opening, I want to start a group. Let's start a amateur internet web sleuthing group. Like I said, we'll get together on Sunday nights at 11 p.m. every Wednesday night or every Sunday night at 11 p.m. Or we can do it more if you guys want, or, less. But let's try. I know that I have said in the past that I'll be back on Sunday at 11. And I do have a couple people who actually like coming on here and listening to me rant. So I appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys soon. You want to see? I'm probably going to run it underwater. That's what I do. But this is where I'm at with this. Just the outline. Very adolescent. I know I'm very adolescent, but what do you do? Good talking to you guys. Thank you very much for sitting and listening to me rant. I know that I didn't do a whole lot of this. It's very difficult for me to type and chat, and I mean, Chris, it's just you in there at the moment anyway. I did lose some followers. I absolutely no disrespect. I mean, absolutely no disrespect to any of the YouTubers that found themselves upset with me. It wasn't my goal to upset anyone, as I have said in the past. And I didn't realize that I was being a pain in the ass. But anyway, I apologize for being a pain in the ass. But hey, every good thing comes to an end, huh? Anyway, I will be back. Chris, I really appreciate your support. And the other 3 people that came on to listening to me rant. I got a new canvas. We can start it later if you want. I have an idea. And I have a piece that I've been working on. We wanted to talk about it with you. Anyway, thank you guys. Love you. I love all of you humans out there. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your pigment is, what awful, evil things in the world you might have done. I still love your soul because you're a human. And I think that everything, is nothing. Have a good afternoon, guys. Let me know if you want me to come back later and do this again. See you soon. Bye. Bye, Chris. Bye, YouTube. Bye, Google.